So this is the second of the small bedrooms, and I believe it's an identical footprint to downstairs. It should be. Outside wall and structural wall, and the internal wall's the same. It might be they've lost a little bit of space on this side, who knows. But the key thing is that it's still a double room. If we come to sell it, the downstairs room, once we've stolen the space from it, will still potentially be sold as a double room. Might be pushing it, but you get a double bed in there, and I think that's all that matters for a double room, which is ridiculous. I grew up in a house full of quite big rooms, so eventually anyway, once all the extension work can be done. Things that are happening in here, mostly the same as everywhere else. New window, rewire, replumb. That radiator's in the worst possible place, so we'll think about that and move that around. It'll get skimmed, the timber will probably get exposed, and then we'll make a decision of what we're actually going to do with it. The timber is one of the purlings, but it's exposed bit timber, so let's make it nice, as opposed to this horrible garish pink that it is. This room's clearly been nursery at some point. There's some murals on the wall. There's actually a pencil outline on this wall. But yeah, for one that was clearly going to go up, but they're great. They're not creepy at all. We're going to be pulling them down. There's an original fireplace in this one, so we'll hopefully get to clean that up. Whether or not we can leave it as a functioning fire, we'll see. It'd need a hearth then. Not that that's the be all end all, but it'd be nice to at the very least keep it as a feature if it can be usable. Winner. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in here. Rewire, replumb, new window. The one thing that's happening in the top story that's not happening anywhere else, I don't think, is I'm going to pull down the ceiling, in particular the eaves ceiling that is where the camera is situated at the moment. And I'm going to insulate the roof because this is a 100-plus-year-old property. It does not have an insulated roof. I'd almost put money on it. So we're going to do that from the underside, assuming of course it doesn't need a new roof, which there is evidence on this back roof that there has been water ingress. But to me it looks like it's just a slip slate and it's just water streaming down to the bottom of the roof, because it should really have fallen through, or we should have water pooling through, which we don't seem to have. I've never been here and seen water on the floor like I have downstairs, even when it's raining. So I think it's a relatively small thing we should be able to put right. Haven't exactly decided how to do the flat ceiling sections, if I'm going to insulate into the loft or if I'll just insulate the loft space. Chances are I might end up doing both. Have an insulated loft, great. Have the insulated space here so the loft doesn't work as an oven, so if I ever have to go up there, it's not horrible to be in. I think that's everything I need to say in here. Yeah, move on to the last bedroom. One thing I forgot to mention, but noticed when I was doing my B-roll there is this sign of damp on the party wall to one of the neighbours. Basically, I think it's to do with the chimney. It's got a cold chimney. Not completely, because there's the open fire in the downstairs dining room, does actually use it. But both this room and the next room, as you'll see, have it. It's probably the chimney needs work, whether that's repointing, reflashing, reflaunching, or new pots, or all of the above. We'll find out in due course, and we'll deal with it. It's one of the things that's probably going to necessitate a scaffold at the front and rear of the property, because working on the chimney you have equal chance of falling either side, and while falling down a roof onto a scaffold will hurt, it's going to be considerably safer than falling down a roof onto nothing, and then landing 3 stories down on the ground. Not that I'm intending on falling, but you got to be safe. Got to keep that mantra in your head, got to be safe. Anyway, moving on now to the last bedroom, and then we'll finish up on the top hall. So, this is the last bedroom. It's basically the same footprint as the master bed downstairs. Slight variation with the chimney breast. That's the same throughout the entire property. Chimney breasts have variants in them. Also, it obviously doesn't have the bay, so we've lost a tiny bit of space there, but it's neither here nor there. And the final thing, as with the small bedroom, you're losing some of the space to the eaves, although even when I'm not in the dormer, my head is in contact, but I am standing upright and I can almost touch that external wall. So we probably only lose about half a metre of usable full standing height room, still leaving about two and a half, maybe even three. They're big rooms. So this is definitely a double bedroom, even with the eaves there, and we also have this dormer, which externally has glass panes on it. So there's going to have to be some investigatory work. My throat is killing me. Some investigatory work and see what we need to do, whether or not we try and get some triangular UPVC windows. I've never had to do that in my life, but if they make them, great. If not, I might have to look at getting some timber ones made, or potentially even just putting up some stud work and cladding it and going, never mind. But that's a problem for another day. This being the top of the house is probably actually going to be one of the first things to deal with. But we want scaffold before we get to that, really, although I could do that from internally. I'm rambling. Basically, there's going to be some investigation there. This window doesn't currently open, so this window needs replaced. It's kind of annoying that it doesn't open because I really wanted to stick my head out and have a poke around at the top of that bay roof, and I can't. But minor problem, we're going to get lads up in the next day or two to do guttering. What else is there? Kira has obviously already started wallpaper stripping this room. The whole house is getting wallpaper stripped because the whole house is getting reskimmed. There's going to be chasing out in most of the walls, if not all. So we're going to need to do bonding in to bond in the chases, at which point we'll just skim the whole lot. It's a very time intensive, so labour costly, but material cheap process, which means that it's a good thing for me to be able to just crack on with when we don't have a lot of spare money for buying materials, but we have we have whatever spare time I have to skim. So she's going to be wallpaper stripping the whole house. I've done this room before I had a chance to record. Other things to note in this room is that it had this cabinet, which was hung on the wall with just screws through the back straight into the wall, and then some little brass hinges on the edges to secure it. I know it's a very strange means of securing a cabinet. Yeah, so I think I've covered everything that needs to happen here. Or have I not covered anything? Needs rewire, needs replumb, needs new window, investigation into the dormer, ceiling insulated as with next door, carpet, decoration, skimming, lots of things. So there was a little bit of evidence of damp on the wallpaper before it was stripped to the chimney breast, and there's a little bit of evidence of kind of fatigue in that wall's plaster. But it all actually seems remarkably solid, the plaster, which is a good sign. So hopefully that's just a little bit of remedial work to the chimney and that'll stop any moisture coming in. We may end up needing to ventilate the chimney at the bottom of each stack where the fireplaces used to be, but hopefully not. We'll see what happens. And again, it's got the exposed purlin, which we just need to pretty up, which has the typical thing of it's been had light fitting on it, and the one in the other room hadn't had this happen to it. This one has, where they've chased out, or notched out I should say, into the timber joist, to the timber purling, to hide the wire, which is kind of annoying because it's a big old lovely piece of wood and they've put a minging hole in it, done it with a flathead screwdriver by the looks of it. So hey ho, can't have it all. Adds a bit of character, I guess. So yeah, I don't think there is. So the joists throughout the house are mostly original, I think. Obviously where fireplaces used to be, they've patched in little snots of skirting board, or baseboard if you're American, and that obviously needs fixing because it just looks rubbish the way they've done it. Whether or not that means I'm reskirting the whole house, I hope not. I'm not actually massively attached to original skirts. But that said, if I don't have to buy new skirting board, that'd be great, because new skirting board is soft, fast grown, it's always bowed and bananaed, whereas this old stuff will be the most stable skirting board you'll ever be able to lay your hands on. So if I maybe just replace a section up to an internal corner, or I don't know, maybe one room loses all its skirting board so that every other room can take it as it comes and work out a solution, but there'll be a solution there. Also, this room has one of the only original doors in the property, if not the only original door, which when we were walking around it, the estate agent told us all the doors are original, which was only slightly hilarious because I happened to have my hand on the downstairs dining lounge room door, which is a £10 cardboard filled piece of crap particulate door. It's rubbish, and I almost burst out laughing at her, but decided not to because I didn't want to offend the then owner of the house who happened to be there. But this one's original. This is a nice solid pine door. We'll look at the hall now, and then I'll have done my bit and I can start doing more work on the house. Yes. And so finally, the last room of the house, which we've kind of already done twice, but the last floor of it is the top floor hall. Again, fire and smoke chirping away, hardwired eventually. It's still a big space. It's got an L-shaped landing. I think my plan is to turn this little useless space into an airing cupboard, put a radiator into the cupboard. Sounds ridiculous, but by doing that we can then have a warm cupboard for keeping towels and linens, so like bed sheets and the like. Other things that need to happen here, obviously rewire. We've got exposed conduit, as with everywhere else in the house. We've got horrible light fitting, fire and smoke, as I've said. Probably got a socket in here. I like having a socket in the hall on each level, just for hoovering if nothing else. Sometimes you just need to plug in. Purling, exposed, it runs right the way through obviously, so it'd be good to clean that up. We also have this metal frame skylight. We're going to be replacing that with a velvet of some variety. Whether or not it's the same shape remains to be seen. I think I prefer to get a wider velvet, wider and longer potentially, which they've painted over it. I don't really get why, because it's going to be throwing light down here. Natural light in the hall, great. If I can get even more of it, even better. Also this banister has obviously been covered over. I would suggest that's been done for kids, because the banister spindles are actually really wide spacings, and wide enough that a kid could potentially crawl through it. So that's what I would suggest is the reason it's been done. I'm going to take them off. This banister may end up getting replaced, or at least the spindles, because there's I think 4 that have been replaced previously, and they just look wrong. They're just not the right spindles, so we might end up salvaging the spindles from here to do downstairs and repair the banister there, or vice versa and repair the banister here. But again, I don't want to leave it in a state where a kid could crawl through it, so we might end up replacing this, which is a bit of a shame, even if it's just re-spindling it. Is there anything else to say here? Likewise with the other eave spaces, this needs knocked off and insulated before we can reboard it and skim it, just to try and stop that chimney effect of all the heat in the house going out through the roof. We want to, make best use of our heat. You're not paid to heat the universe. And there's also a small loft hatch, which I haven't been up yet, but I will have to then go see what the state of play is up there. And I think that's it for the house. When we get to dealing with any spaces that you've not seen yet, we'll go over where they are in the house, obviously. But this is going to be the project for the next 6 months. Sticking with 6 months. It's going to take longer than that, but stick with 6 months for now. Evenings and weekends for me, or holiday as I'm on at the moment. If I keep up with the videoing, excellent. If not, only me's to suffer because I won't have any audience. But yeah, I'd quite like to document the whole process. I think it'd be good for myself and my partner to have a record and go like, this is our house and this is what it looked like and this is what it looks like now and this is how I got there. I'm doing a lot of time lapse, so at the end of each step I might do time lapses of a room going from how it was to how it is. Although I've already missed out on wallpaper stripping of that top bedroom, but you're probably going to end up missing sections here, there and everywhere. But at the very end of the project I might lump all the time lapse together and just have one big long time lapse of going, here's a house being renovated, beginning to end, which I think would be quite cool. had a sore throat through the whole of this video and the previous video, as you might have noticed. Filmed back to back. I've already started work on the cellar, so that will probably be the next video after this.